the newly title-sponsored Kumho Tyre and Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship, just racing today, but you'll also have action from the ADMTR Mazda MX-5 Championship, which will have 3 races this weekend, as we'll also have the ever-competitive Clapham North MOT Mazda MX-5 Super Cup. Not just Mazdas, we also have 4 Fiestas, the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST240 Championship, and a record entry for the ever-burgeoning and blossoming BRSCC Fiesta Championship, Junior Championship, with even touring car investment with teams like Speedworks, and I believe on the rise, and possibly even I've heard rumblings of allegedly maybe One Motorsport might be getting involved on top of that as well. A 31 car entry, which is the biggest they've ever had in championship history to start off the season. There's 35 registrations, which is more they've ever had pre-season, which is absolutely phenomenal where the championship is. They've got 3 races this weekend, as far as I remember correctly. We'll get to what's going on rest with Caterhams and 2CVs as we go on, and Club Sport Trophy. But this is the grid for the first race of the season for the Kumho Tyre Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship, and it is defending champion car number 1, Jordan Pimley, on pole position in P number 1. He's alongside Neil Chisnell on the front row of the grid. Jack Warry, who missed out on the title by a single point last year, is second on the grid, and he's alongside the second row man in the mix, which is Matthew McCluckey. Then it's Keith Dalton and Alex Catlow come next on the third row from stalwart Martin Tolley and Kevin Dengate, and the round up the top 10 is Russell Halley and Chris Wright. Matt Flowers, former BMW Compact Cup racer, starts 11th, just outside the top 10 from Harrison Leach, then Adam Lawrence and Benjamin Amarim Draper. Simon Privet and Dennis Pillamonkin come next from Tom Cannon and Jack Spooner. The top 20 completed by Zach Hancox and Chris Winstanley, then David Scowler, Liam Martin Bradley, William Tyrrell, Del Whiteman, Stephen Davis and Luke Jeffrey Bashford makes up a 26-car entry with Mustafa Said right at the back as well, having not set a time but also get qualifying at the back of the Misty Racing number 95. A 27-car entry, typically good grids, and if you've never seen Mazda racing before, expect the best kind of chaos and excitement, because Mazda MX-5 racing, particularly with the Mark 1s, as you would have seen all around the world, particularly in the US and around anywhere you find Mazda MX-5, John. It's always exciting racing, it's pack racing, it's tight, it's exciting, it's frantic in the best possible way. And these 3 champions, particularly the Clubmans as well, to start us off, are no exception. They will surely give us a fantastic kick-off for our 2 days here at Snetterton.
I think it's door-to-door racing, isn't it, we speak about when we speak about MX-5s. It always is. There's never much room for margin in the MX-5s, and I'm sure the driver's going to treat us here, of course, as they kick off their season. There's been a lot of waiting around. I'm sure lots of testing and things, drivers getting out and getting back up to speed, but we're back to full race pace here as we kick it all off at Snetterton. I will say as well, I think Jordan Pimley was a little bit excited to get off the line there for the green flag. Like, he jumped a good 10 or 15 seconds before the rest of the drivers, and I think some of our Orange Army up on the side were thinking, where's he off to? Well, the green flag did in fact wave about 10 or 15 seconds later, and everyone joined him on the green flag lap, all heading round then, getting that last bit of time in the car. Of course, not too much to be learned here on the green flag laps, more just to focus on getting some warmth in those tyres and getting yourself up to speed, ready and raring to go. A few meters to get yourself in the headspace and the zone, ready for a short and sharp races. Not only they are here in the Mazdas, but across all the build this weekend, all very short and sharp races, either 15 or 20 minutes. So not a huge amount of time to make up places if things have gone wrong in qualifying earlier on this morning. As you can see, their drivers heading through the tight and twisty mid-section of the circuit. They then head through that very fast right-hander onto the back straight, and here they can really open up. Those cars get pedal to the metal down the back straight, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of slipstreaming down that back straight as well across all the different classes through this weekend. There you can see confirmed on your screens then 15 minutes for this first race of the day. It's going to be an interesting one, I think, Scott.
It is. You said about excitement. Let's face it, it's first day back at school. Everyone's excited back racing once again, whether it's at the championship, whether it's Mazdas, Fiestas. We should mention also we have the Classic 2CVs and the Catering graduates here. First time under the BRSCC banner for both of them, so welcome to both, and we'll give them a proper welcome when they go to race later on this afternoon. But the Mazda MX-5s, of course, we talk about the Clubmans. This is a one-day format, so you have 2 Mark 1 championships because one wasn't enough. They now have 2 they've had for the last couple of years since about 2021. And from last year, looking at the title battle, it did indeed go right down to the final race of the season, where the title was decided quite literally, almost lap by lap at the Silverstone International Circuit. And Jordan Pimley, who's had some pretty good drives, including probably the best driver I've seen in a Mazda MX-5 for a long time, where in the wet a couple of years ago, he went from the back to the front in one single race, 27th on the grid, I think it was, to first in the wet. It was one of the best drives you've ever seen in a Mazda MX-5. That was a couple of years prior. He proved that pace and got himself the title and P1 on that as well. So he comes into the weekend and the season as the defending champion. Jack Warry was vice champion literally by a single point. Then you have no Jake Pace this weekend or Jonathan Greensmith. The next highest driver that's in the field that will probably be a challenger looks to be Matt Flowers, who was in the points last year, ended up in 9th. He's a former BMW Compact Cup racer, but he will be looking to try and make an instant impact. But other drivers who are towards the front, of course, the likes of Neil Chisnell, who's always been a quick driver. And interestingly, I believe if I'm correct, he's now moving back down from the Mazda MX-5 Championship into Clubman, where he did start originally. So he's possibly thinking he might have an opportunity to maybe go here and have a go at possibly getting himself a good end of season point, because look at the points last year. He wasn't in the Clubman Championship, but he was battling towards the front in the what's now the ADMTR. I have to get used to that name going forwards, to battle in the front. So in terms of identification, Neil Chisnell in all blue on the right, but the pole sitter in black and yellow is on the left-hand side. The BRSCC flags fluttering in the breeze. It's about 16 degrees here, a bit of a breeze. It's overcast, but it's dry. It's almost perfect conditions for club racing. We're all set to go for the first 15 minutes of the season for the Kumho Tyre Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship. 5-second board is up. 27 Mark 1 MX-5s, all set to go around the Snetterton 300 circuit here in Norfolk. The red lights go on. They go out, and we are racing. Clean start from the front row. Good getaway also from Jack Warry from the outside of row 2 in the white and black car. He slots in behind Pimley and gets left behind. Now down towards Ritchie's for the first time. Has a peek up the inside, but Pimley's got the inside and gets it. They're 3-4 abreast behind as they pack in towards Ritchie's for the first time. The car running out wide. When it's passing sideways. It was 25 minute loose, which was Tom Cannon. He's the guest this weekend, so not scoring points. But Winston Wilson hairpin for the first time with the big gold number 1 on the side of the championship winning car of defending champion Jordan Pimley. The rest of the pack comes out of the hairpin for the first time. 22 is Matt Flowers. He's down in the pack battling in the bottom of the top 10. And also there is 99, which is Russell Halley. He's been a veteran over the last few seasons. One car running out wide, one of the Misty Racing cars has got off its heat with that. We'll go for it, Racing Machine. But it's now side by side for the lead down towards Agostini. And on the inside trying to take the lead is Warry. He's got the position. He's got the track position into the left-hander. And into the lead he goes. So 1 or 2 bits of bumps and scrapes in the first couple of corners, John, as you kind of expect first day back at school. But everyone appears to mind their P's and Q's just about. And it is now Warry to the front, trying to put right what he didn't put right last year.
Indeed, yeah. A very fair but a very exciting race start then, the MX-5s. Yeah, fantastic getaway from Jack Warry off of the race start there from the second row. Was already pulling alongside as they headed down into the Riches in the first corner. Couldn't quite get it done there, but only a few corners later, and he's to the front of the order then. Slides it there through the right-hander as we head onto the back straight. Through Williams they go, and again, still drivers trying to make it 2 by 2. That was the driver we saw only a couple of moments ago. Russell Halley continuing on side by side. Down the Bentley straight they go, but as you can see, lots of slipstream to be used down this back straight, and they will look to make it 3 wide before they hit the braking zone down into Brundle. What a beautiful camera shot. That's one of my favourite camera shots in British motorsport here at Snetterton as they fly on down, chuck the anchors on after quite a lot of time there at max speed here in an MX-5, and they all managed to sort themselves out. Good to see.
Just about. Matt Flowers getting a bit feisty there on the rear of 62, which is Chris Wright, another one of the guests, so guests do not score points. So he's just there, even though, for example, if he qualified 10th, if he finishes 10th, he won't get the points for that. It'll be, for example, if Matt Flowers was behind him, he'd get the points for P10. Everyone would move up as if he's invisible for point scoring. End of the first racing lap of the season, and it is going to be Jack Warry, who has a small gap over the battle of the second developing between defending champion Jordan Pimley and Neil Chisnell. Cross the line they come at the end of lap number 1, and so the lead gap for Warry is, as they come through, just 0.2 of a second. And Pimley, despite starting from pole, ironically gets the fastest. Pimley's showing has been leading, which is not correct. The reason why is because Warry's car's obviously got something with the phone's transponder, I think, for a second. Side by side between 94 and 79. So that's a 94, which is Leach and Pillamonkin. Slipping up inside past Leach in the Owen Mills Racing Machine. One car was going wide exit, and that was right. That was 19. That was Ben Amber and Draper also visiting the scenery. There's no potato fields there, not like there was in years past. But Patrick Watts visited side by side here between Matt Flowers and the green and black number 73, which is of Adam Lawrence. I think Adam Lawrence was a former City Car Cup racer, if I'm correct. He's now moved across into the championship. Alex Catlow also in the pit lane. He's never recognised from the Winter Esports Series, so raced a few times, but he's now transitioning to real world racing. The top 3 starting to pack up a little bit here as now Chisnell's got past Pimley into second position, and a lock up there from the 88, which is Alex Catlow. He's now using all of his experience around this circuit to get past the 99 and Russell. No, that was the 88, in fact, he's battling one or two. One car he's battling, which I couldn't quite catch exactly who he was, but I think Warry's car hasn't also been inserted back into the timing yet because he's not shown showing as being in the lead on the timing screen. He is there. It's just the transponder's having a bit of a tantrum at this early stage.
Yeah, we can confirm here from the pictures, he's definitely still in and amongst the leading battle, isn't he? Well, leading the leading battle at the moment. Yeah, as we saw one driver practicing their gardening skills here on lap number 2, we did see briefly that the leaders were all trying to reshuffle themselves down at Wilson. So a good job then from your number 6, Jack Worry, to hold on to the lead then, but still very much being kept in check by the two close behind. And we're not really opening up huge gaps just yet. The top 3, not that they're choosing to work together, but either way, the slipstream assisting them to just start to build that gap. So it is Keith Dalton, I believe, who is then starting the next battle pack, and then we're split off into 2s and 3s basically from there. Nice and slidey through the mid corner there for the number 73 as they hooked it up. Did Adam Lawrence there, getting it back through, back onto the black stuff and holds position, but again looking for the lead here, having a thought about it, was your driver who started this race in second place, Neil Chisnell. He looked to put the pressure on there through the final corner, but not able to make a move just yet. As we look back into the pack once more, this is still the 73 and the 79 going at it, Adam Lawrence and Harrison Leach. So Lawrence has made the move in this race earlier on. As we look back to the squabble at the front, we're going side by side for second place. This is a move attempt around the outside here from your pole sitter, Jordan Pimley. Will still be there on the outside, but sadly enough for him, the next corner is a right-hander, and that's not going to help things.
No, Chisnell's got the inside line and track position, so back through he goes and slots in behind Worry once again. So even though Pimley tried it, couldn't quite pull that one off, and that's only allowing Worry to get away. And this is something I've said so many times in commentary, is the harder these two find each other, the easier it is for Worry to start making a break as Pimley goes diving back up the inside to try and find the gap through the left-hander at Palmer's. It's a slight off-camber corner as you come across. There's a lot of grass on the right-hand side that we saw one of the Misty Racing cars explore for quite a long time on the opening lap. We've got it together, side by side for second. Jack Ray still hasn't been inserted into the timing as Pimley tries to give it everything, battling around the outside. He's not comfortable in letting Chisnell have his position, is he? He really is going for it. Now, does he dare go down the outside here at Hamilton's? He's going to have a look at it, and he does. Chisnell is forced to back out. Pimley sweeps back around the outside and back into second place. But as I've just said, John, the harder these two fight each other, the easier it is for Worry to start sailing off up the road, even though TSL hasn't recognised that he is in this race and not out. Wait, hang on. No. I'll let TSL figure that one out whilst we see the physical evidence that Worry is leading this race, but it's Pimley from Chisnell second and third. Then we have Dalton and McCluskey rounding out fourth and fifth position, because the timing score is confusing me because Worry wasn't at the top spot. I'll figure that one out while you talk.
Indeed, yep, TSL catching us out already on the first race of the day. He's definitely still there, and this is the first point in the race that he's had a little bit of a breakaway. But now it's your defending champion with the number 1 adorning the side of their car, who's looking to hunt him back down. There's only maybe a couple of car lengths that's opened up there for your race leader of Jack Worry. And let's see if Chisnell and Pimley can maybe just put down their swords for a moment and see if they can re-chase down your race leader. But yes, in behind, Dalton and McCluskey having a lovely squabble here just outside of the top 3, but you never know what could happen ahead. A battle for fourth could quickly become a battle for second or even first here if the leaders get a little bit more feisty across the last 8 minutes or so. But with these two still absolutely nose to tail, the 178 now closing in behind as well. Kevin Dengate looking to make it a party of 3, as ahead still it is Pimley chasing down your race leader, but on that lap alone, half a second gain by Pimley over Chisnell. So actually, he's not really bringing Chisnell along for the party. He's going alone here to look to chase down your leader as we continue to battle for fourth place.
I like it. See once again that scrap going between Dalton and McCluskey in car number 2. He's now had to sweep past the bright blue machine of McCluskey, the all-black car of NHA Motorsport, the team run by Paul Austin. That is these two Paul Austin teammates that are going wheel to wheel here. This is an intra-team battle over the final spot in the fourth positions. Also joining in the fight now is just behind Kevin Dengate, who's a veteran of the championship. He's won a couple of times in this championship before. Particularly Cavill Park, he had a couple of guest appearances and did some pretty good runs whilst having raced here for several seasons. In towards the hairpin they go, and yeah, 88 is that's Alex Catlow in fact, because there's a couple of cars I think that haven't got proper working transponders. I think Alex Catlow is one of them, so I think they have to wiggle this one out. Right, Worry has now finally popped in to TSL, so they have realised that the race leader is there. They've managed to figure that one out, and I'm sure they'll do that for Catlow in a second. This is actually, in fact, so it is McCluskey, Dalton and Catlow. This is the battle that's going on for 4th, 5th and 6th. Then it's Dengate behind them, then Halley and Wright will make up the top 9 with Flowers in the top 10. Now, I've had to get that right because Warriors have gone back into the points and now we're back there. Rather than we ramble, let's just keep on what's going on the rest of the race. And we see further back, we have 73 battling. That was the scrap going on between Alan Lawrence and the Owen Mills racing car, Harrison Leach, as they come back into the complex. And Pimley now has broken away slightly from Neil Chisnell, right on the rear bumper of Warry, and this is pretty much the 2025 points battle from last year, but it's now set to round 9, I guess, from what it was last year, given we had 8 events last season. So it's now round 9, seconds out, go for it now with 5.5 minutes to go. We're just over that as we come towards this second half of the race. And even though we are some 5 3/4 minutes left to go, the phrase really is, time flies when you're having fun in the Mazda MX-5, because these guys certainly are. They've all closed back up again as Chisnell dives up the inside, has a little look and just clips the curb on the inside at Murray's. They're getting feisty with 5.5 minutes to go.
Oh yeah, door was always going to close there at the final corner, wasn't it? Just had a little look for it there, did Chisnell, but nope, doesn't happen. Pinley shuts the door in his face and they go back to as they were. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that we've had a few months out for the winter break, would you? They're straight back into proceedings and it's like they never left. Hey, we continue to press on then, onto a new lap of this race. As you say, not too long to go in this one then. We're on to lap number 5 and now once again is Quarry and Pimnell squabbling at the sharp end. Pimley, apologies, Jordan. Jordan applying the pressure heavily once again there down through into Wilson, and he is well and truly now broken away from Neil Chisnell. So it is Jack Warry and Jordan Pimley then battling over the lead of this race, already into the final 5 minutes of this one, and it is hotting up here in the first race of the season. Who will get it though? Of course, your defending champion, he's got the number 1 on the side of his car. Well, he wants to be stood on the top step of the podium, but for the moment, Jack is keeping him on that second step. And Jack will, of course, want to start this championship as he means to go on here with a win and maximum points from race number 1 here in the Kumho Tyres Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship. Fantastic to have Kumho Tyres along as title sponsor for this season. And this is exactly why they've joined the championship, because we are treated to awesome racing like this. Well, through the middle section there, the brand new, well, I say brand new, it's quite a few years old now, but the new layout of the circuit, actually proving like a good stomping ground there for Warry. He's gapped Pimley by a couple of car lengths yet again.
It's only been for 16 years. Keep up, keep up, Ratters. Yes, less than 4 minutes to go, and you're right. Warry has got a small gap here, and everything's starting to close up a little bit because the top 2 are breaking away. And you're right, Chisnell has now dropped back by a couple of seconds. He's not as close as he was before because these two have kind of gone into their own race in that sense as they come out through Brundle and Nelson, and now they're showing the short straight towards the bomb hole. Down towards this tricky right-hander that right on the apex where you get that huge compression at right at the bottom. It bottoms out right on the apex, and that can be really pretty key because you haven't got a car that sits well on the bumps. It doesn't have the dampers or the shocks set up just nicely. It can, I'm sure from your experience having raced here in a Fun Cup car, that corner is one where you have to be very careful because if you hit it wrong or the setup's not quite right, it can cause the car to get sideways. And sometimes if it's a car that can quickly grip and snap the other way, it'll send you straight up into the field on the outside line. I don't know how much you've tried to tackle that corner and it gone wrong, but even so, it is a corner where you can't really take liberties with it because if you do, you're going to hear about it.
Indeed, it's a very challenging one bomb hole. It's if you hit it in the right position, it goes very well. If you hit it in the wrong position, it can go very wrong, as you say. But look at that. We change for the lead then with only just less than 3 minutes left to go. It is finally Pimley back to the sharp end then, but he knows he's going to be immediately under pressure from Jack Warry as he now sends it to the outside line. Very late on the brakes there, down through Wilson's. But the number 1 just about keeps his nose ahead as they get to corner exit. Then they'll run almost side by side down through into Palmer for this time. But there you go, inside line on the left-hand side of your screens and holds on to the race lead. But again, we'll get slightly to the exit. It'll be a nicer exit now, once more from Jack Warry. And defending aggressively is Pimley here. Forces his car to the inside line and looks to hold on to the place. But the number 6 is not taking this line down. Looking to get that switch back in. But you'll see the number 1 might just chop back across. No, not good enough exit for the 6 of Warry. And for now, anyway, it looks as though he's been able to stop the momentum as Pimley, and he has the lead.
Tell you what, if Jack Warry isn't fired up to put right missing out on the championship last year by a single point, if this isn't evidence of it, then you need to show me something else, because Warry's really going for it here and giving Pimley plenty of headaches right from the very first race of the season, and no wonder, because these two really went at it hammer and tongs last year. In terms of wins last year, if I look at who did what, I mean, Pimley won the first race of the season. He went on to win, how many times did he win? Well, quite a few in the second half of the season. He won 7 races last year, compared to Worry, who won 3 races. And it's incredible, 3 races compared to 7, but there was a couple of DNSs that happened in there as well, or DNFs, as Pimley makes the move through the first part of Brundle, slots in front of Nelson. They're going to have one more lap to go of the 300 circuit next time when they come past the pits and cross the line to take the last lap board. Behind it's nearly 3 wide for position. That is the 178 of Dengate battling with Halley, and also looks like also joining in there too is both Wright and Pilamonkin. That's now a 4-car pack battling over what is now currently, Kaplan's been slotted in now. This is now between a few more cars now. That is 7th down to 10th. It's the bottom positions in the top 10. Leaders come out of Murray's for the second to last time. As you look back to that scrap for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Dengate has it in the red, number 178. Then it's the purple car with the yellow stripes. I've said this before and I'll say it again. We need more purple race cars in Motorsport because they look absolutely fantastic. I'm glad, for example, the Plato racing cars got purple on them. That's the matter entirely. Side by side for Billy towards Ritchie's. Where he looks for the outside line, then the undercut, which you might get if he gets good momentum off the corner here towards the Wilson hairpin. But Pimley again throws the block. He sees it coming. This is going to be all the way to the flag, I'm pretty certain. But now with one more lap to go, these two keep on battling. And Chisholm might not be out of this. He's 2.5 seconds back, but people have lost more time battling over this lead position in other races, so it's not over yet.
It definitely isn't. Yeah, one more lap to go then in this first race of the year for these drivers, and for the moment, your defending champion leads us through into the middle section of the circuit. It seems as though Jack Warry's able to get some lovely exits off of these corners, but he's just not quite able to do anything with it, as Pimley is able to defend, and he does just that once more as we head down into the left of Agostini. Not an easy one to get the run off, and then of course you're into the fast left of Hamilton as well. We've already seen Pimley go round the outside of that corner. It's not going to be a good enough exit this time for Jack Warry. He won't be able to do anything. Sticks in behind for now. And as you say, Chisnell, Neil's not too far behind either, but for the moment, they're not quite squabbling enough for him to get back involved with this, but there are still a few corners to go where we've seen some hairy moments previously in Mazda MX-5s. So let's not count it out then. Who will get the better exit onto the back straight? This could be crucial for the rest of the race. They look pretty even to me, Scott.
Yeah, Warry was right on Pimley's rear bumper as they come onto the Bentley straight for the final time. Let's take them all the way to the flag then, as they come out through. And there's a big gap from the cars behind. There's Halley's in there somewhere ahead of Dengate, and then just behind him now is a 62 of Chris Wright, and Pilamonkin's dropped back a couple of places behind Flowers, and what looks like Adam Lawrence. Into the complex the final time, Wade glued there. There's contact! Into the back of Pimley goes Worry. It underbrakes him towards Nelson. He goes off onto the grass, keeps his foot in, but Worry respectfully backs off. This brings Chisnell back into it. He might even still second place if he plays his cards right. Through the bomb hole for the final time. They're close back up together again, but Worry was respectful. He saw that happen, think, right, if I go past, I'm going to get a penalty. Have to let him go. They see the bit of damage on the back of the bumper. It is now 3 for the lead with 2 more corners to go. Pimley's car moving around through Coram, under brakes of Murray's into the left-hander for the final time. This will be the final sprint. Over the curve goes Worry. Chisholm could still get second if he plays his cards right and gets him a toe here. Up to the checkered flag for the first time this season in the Kumho Tyre Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship. And after a last lap bit of contact, he sat back and held on to the lead. Jordan Pimley, the defending champion, takes the victory and the first blood in 2026 in MX-5 Clubman. He wins in the end at the flag by just under half a second. Worry takes P2, Chisnell right back at it in P3. Top 3 covered by just under 0.8 of a second. Then Matt McCluskey gets one of his best finishes in a Mazda MX-5 with 4th. And Keith Dalton, an excellent finish in P5 to round off the top 5. Then quick as you like, it's in Catlow in a distant 6th, followed by Halley, Dengate, Wright and Flowers getting a top 10 at the end ahead of Lawrence, Leach, Pilamonkin and co. Well, that's one race down, and how many? 22 still to go. And if there's anything like that, I say bring them on, particularly what's coming next, which is Fiesta Junior, which I've been absolutely looking forward to, considering they've got a massive grid. But MX-5, once again, as we see the rest of the pack coming through, they're still battling and sliding around everywhere else. But a great race to kick things off for the season for Mazda MX-5s. If they're all like that, I say bring it on.
Exactly what we were expecting, that wasn't it yet, to kick off the year then for those drivers. A very exciting way to start off this weekend here at Snetterton. The Kumho Tyres Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship does not disappoint. Awesome racing at the front. A shame there, that bit of contact on the last lap, but nice to see the heads-up driving there from Jack Warry to just move over, allow for Pimley to rejoin the circuit, and honestly, Jack did a pretty good job there to hold on to second place, as you saw Neil Chisnell there, diving in the background, seeing if he could make something from it, but not quite able to do so. So Pimley takes the first race of the year then. Well, of course, your defending champion there. We saw last season that one went down to 1 point, and it looks like it's going to be something similar in 2026 with how close they were racing there. But also some other drivers getting involved as well. I look forward to seeing how that championship continues through the year. But as Scott says then, one race down and 22 still left to go. And what a way to kick it off here then at Snetterton. Blue skies, the sun is shining, and the racing gods are loving it as well. They're treating us to some good action here up in Norfolk.
I mean, they give us a bit of cloud cover. We don't mind that. Keeps things cool. It keeps things typically British, where it's not totally blue skies. It had a bit of cloud. That's more like it in this country, isn't it, in that sense? But first race in the books, and the first one done for the Kumho Time Mazda MX-5 Clubman Championship. They'll be out later on, timetabled at roughly round about 5 to 6, but of course if we're ahead of time, might be a bit earlier than that. Of course, all times are subject to change, being ahead or behind schedule, so the timetable, I think we're about roughly, I'd say, 20 minutes ahead of schedule, given what I've been told, because the next race was scheduled, which is the Fiesta Juniors, was set to start, in fact, at around about 2:15, but the fact that it's now 10 to 1 means we're about just over half an hour ahead of schedule, which is pretty impressive. But that is typical positive, ruthless efficiency by the BRSCC. They do like to give up a bit of a gap, to build up a gap of time, so if there is anything that happens, they get a chance to use it as a buffer in case it's ever needed, which is always quite handy. So good to see that they've done that. And of course, once again, we should say, if they're ever needed, which they are around the circuit, you can see them even in the post just alongside the end of the pit straight, and also